Okay, got it. Going live. All right.
Every year, Startup Grind hosts our SG Women's Month, proudly recognizing the successful accomplishments of women leaders all over the world. These women are founders, venture capitalists, engineers, executives, educators, and more, who represent our community globally. This month, SG Women's Month is proudly presented by Silicon Valley Bank and Comcast NBC Universal Lift Labs.
So, welcome to Startup Grind Grand Rapids and our Take a Moment, literally with WisckAR. I'm really happy to be the co-director and MC for the night and interviewing WisckAR's co-founder, Samantha Hunt. This is an app that was made locally here in Grand Rapids, and I'm really interested in getting to know how it came about, also highlighting a woman founder, as here at Startup Grind. Globally, it is SG Women's Month, and we try to highlight all of our women founders or women founders in the area. So if you are one of them, similar to Samantha, I'm really excited to get to know you. Drop a DM or a comment in the chat. And if we don't get to you right away, we'll definitely connect with you in the future. So with that being said, I'm really pleased to introduce you to Samantha Hunt, co-founder of WisckAR. And sorry about that little bit of a blip. Samantha, hi. It's
Hi
great
there.
to see you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm going to qualify, friends, for those of you that don't know at home, the reason that I got to know Sam and WisckAR is because from her to me, we are literally about 16 steps away. So I'm pretty proud that someone here on the west side of Grand Rapids actually developed an app, and we have that to talk about tonight. So as you play along at home, please definitely chat. We're going to jump into a line of questions. Give me one more second to do one more thing on my computer.
This meeting is being recorded.
So I'm also recording this, so we'll have that for posterity. So Sam, tell me a little bit about WisckAR. What is the WisckAR app?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity. We don't get a lot of FaceTime, being that we're neighbors, but being able to talk a lot about this program. I'm really excited that you put this in front of me. WisckAR is the simplest type of app platform for creating, viewing, and sharing augmented reality moments. It's like print plus digital equaling WisckAR. You can choose a photo, choose a video, and kind of merge them together, hit upload, and then before you know it, you can see your moment in real life. And it's found on Apple, Android, in the app stores, and it's free to public.
And if you go to, I think it's WisckAR.com, that's the quick way to get to both of those platforms. Am I correct?
That's accurate. Yeah.
That's great. Should we highlight how to use it? Should we go to Instagram and show off that highlight reel or the page right now?
Sure. Do you have that up?
I do.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah, let me jump back. And for those of you playing at home, thanks again for your patience as we look, but we wanted to give you some context. And as you can see, WisckAR actually has an Instagram, so I very much encourage everyone to follow. They're on all social handles, including LinkedIn. If you are over on that channel, I'm not sure if you guys are on other TikTok channels or not, but we can definitely drop those links into the channel. The one I'm personally preferent to is, of course, you'll probably know this because you're my neighbor, the Michigan State reel, because I think we might have been at this same game together, but I'd love to show everybody off this little highlight reel, and I'm going to go quiet and let you hear it. What great moments. I think that was the Maryland game, if I'm correct. I'm not sure.
I believe you're right. And I still get fired up every time I see it, just as if I was there, which is what the benefit of having WisckAR allows you to do, is to read, memorize, or have that memory come to life every single time. It's a little bit taking a photograph and bringing it to your 3D. So I think it just allows you to have more interaction with it. And like I still have goosebumps from that moment. I remember I was so excited, and I was probably one of those voices in the background that you heard.
I think so. It sounded familiar. Very, very close to mine. In order to do that, you produce that video within the app and then scan the ticket and it shows the video. Am I correct?
You do not necessarily need to create it within the app. You can create it outside of the app and then just upload it within the app at the same time.
Okay. And there's examples of how to do that too on the Play Store for everyone watching at home. So it's just an ingenious idea, right? If I scanned over like my New Balance running shoes box, I could see a video of me running like a marathon or a 5K. I love those moments. Or if you go past the posters that I have here from my previous runs, I could see videos that my friends took and associated to it through this app. Tell me about the light bulb moment though. How did this really come to be? How did this idea even, I think, start?
Well, to be fully transparent, we might have been having a few glasses of wine and brainstorming. It happened to be 19 Crimes wine, and I don't know if you are familiar with it, but it has a AR capability on their label. And so we kept thinking about it and thinking, there's more to this. This seems so singular. We need to make this bigger. How do we make this happen? And Dean and I started spitballing ideas on what could you use this on if you were able to do it and in its easiest fashion. And one thing led to another, and here we are. There needs to be something that's a universal tool for basic folks, right? I'm not a super tech person, but I can do this. Like I'm an expert at it because he's made it so easy to be able to kind of navigate, to download, and be able to share with everyone else. I think like that was the moment that we knew that we needed to make it for an everyday person versus a corporation who has only made it for one label. It seems so small.
I recognize those moments. I may have stared, not necessarily at the 19 Crimes bottle that you guys had 2 or 3 years ago when you came up with the idea, but there is a poster in one of my favorite pizza places of Sinatra in his early days or something like that. And I know that they made an AR, I think, not just for one label, but for many, and you scanned it with your phone. But this puts it all kind of all in one place. Scan the
sure does.
Load a picture. Yeah. And I encourage everyone that's listening at home. I'm not going to show it here because I want to actually entice you guys to go out and download the app while we're here on the phone talking about it so that we can actually start to see pictures and community grow. What was the road or journey like? I know you guys said that you came up with the idea a few years ago, and obviously there's something that has to do with building the app or investing in it or designing it. What was that like for you? I know we both, work full time. We all work full time and we have these, day jobs, but we also have to balance coming up with, a concept of this app. So what was the road like or the journey like to get to live?
Well, we knew we had to hit the ground running, finding investors to kind of lean in with us and trust that we had a good enough idea that would allow us to come to life, right? So um, that was first, and then we found some developers, but unfortunately, it took us a few to get to the right one. We had a couple, hiccups along the way that they just weren't following the same type of thought process that we wanted to go after, and so we had to pivot, which is great. You learn a lot of things as a startup and trying to find an interview and what types of questions do you ask when you're going to meet with a developer. So we had to learn it the hard way, but it was the right way, I think. It took us 3 years, but we have three silent investors that have helped us along the way and have been great support system. Just kind of keeping a pulse on where we're going and are very excited about the traction that we've had so far.
I know I wished that the three of us had had this organization kind of in our lives before I knew it. I was going to be associated with it. So, for all of you that are listening at home, that might be the person that has the idea and you're about to go down the journey or the road, know that in the last year and a half, I've heard the same exact story. We started with a development shop and then we went to another one. Definitely reach out to Startup Grand Rapids. We're a local resource for you. We've got global connections, but we're there to just really kind of talk through maybe your next steps and really counsel you on that gut instinct. So love saying that we've been through that journey. I want to just come back to what Sam said there. It's not unique. It's not unique. You're in the. I'm hearing the journey happen to many different apps that are developing here in the area. Um, so that was 2 or 3 years ago. Where are we today with your app, having gotten those investors, having gone through that development journey? Can you talk a little bit about what is today?
Sure. I'm happy to say we've been in the market for a year. We just anniversaried our first year. We have over 1,000 users and we have over 1,300 moments that have been created. We have a few businesses that have signed up with our traditional evergreen, if you will, version. And then we've created a white label that we have now been able to sell, which is a different version of the different version of the same technology, excuse me. So it just is allowing that business to put their own label on it, but it's our technology behind the scenes. So it's really exciting because no matter what, it's going to get people used to using the AR technology. So we had a lot of startup start and stop campaigns. We can do geofencing for any moments that are created. It allows links to additional information in a dashboard, which I personally find very exciting because my day-to-day job is a lot of analytical information. So we created a dashboard that allows you to have that instantaneous information on how that user is interacting with the app and how effective that promotion is or that moment that the business has put out there. If you think about ROI on campaigns, this is a real tangible way to get that information, and you don't have to be dependent. No offense, Megan, I know you live in this world, but the marketing team to give me my information that takes several weeks for them to compile because they have thousands of campaigns. This is right at their fingertips and they can access it and understand whether the person was engaged or not and how to pivot for the next time. As the company, we've collaborated with a NASCAR team, with some DJs, athletic teams, and some other brands across the entire US. We have some new features up and coming, one of which it allows us to have sweepstakes within it. So that allows companies to take a select or many different viewers of a moment and say that you win if you play the video or take a specific URL or contact to collect their winnings. So it's very kind of cool. We're creating a little bit more dynamic things. And I think the thing I'm excited about it with technology is we're pretty agile. We're able to put that stuff in there relatively quickly based on what businesses are telling us that we need.
You just, spoke my favorite word right there of agile
Agile.
and pivot, and my world that I've lived in of working with teams in that area. So shivers. Anyway, what I like about you talking about the white label options, it's very similar, right? Yeah, I understand the data. I just finished a data analytics course online because I just can't help myself from learning. And you're right. There's this whole process of having to get the data out of the source data, cleanse it, figure out the questions that you want to ask, and then answer the questions. And there's, delay in there, and it's usually a 2 to 4 week turnaround. But for business owners that want to white label this, or current users, you can actually see the data right there. That's tangible. I think about advertisements today, right? We go live on the Super Bowl, and you have an ad spot up, but you have to, wait until the ads have run out and really test that market, kind of thing. So there is a delay. I love that. We're getting some comments from our participants that are listening in that I should show off one of the other reels that are on Instagram. We'll get to that in a second, so thanks for that. If someone was out there today listening who you could influence, fund, support, to use this app, or even to develop their own, what would you want them to know?
Megan, are you asking in this to use the specific app? Like, what would I give as mentorship to someone, or specific to the app on how to create the augmented reality moment?
You know what? I'm doing a typical thing where I mush two questions together. Let's take the first one. How would you want to see someone use this app in an ideal way? What would be an ideal way for a person or a brand even to use this app?
I'll take the brand side of it. I would love to see, so if you're walking into a grocery store, take right now is a specific time where I think this would be really influential, right? You have specific product line you really love. I would love if I'm walking down the aisle in a grocery store near my favorite pasta sauce, if I'm not going to make it at home, Megan, I know that that's true to your heart as well. And I get notification on my phone from WisckAR that tells me that an ad is available for my specific pasta sauce. And I can go over and scan it, and it is a direct ad for myself, like buy one, get one. Depending on my purchasing frequency and depth of discount that I prefer, they can do that within a store and allow me to get that benefit that you might not get if you're walking down the aisle. So it's very personalized. And then if I think about it from a individual using it, man, I would love to be able to see some of these grads that are out there and they're seeing their pictures and have some of their moments tied together, and then you're handing that off, and everyone at the grad party has a little clip of maybe you from infancy till now, because they've looped all of those pictures together, or home videos from when our youth. There are so many different ways that you can use this in your personal life and then share with your friends and family across the world. It's just possibilities are endless. So that's kind of how I would use it if I was going to push the personal side or the business side of it.
So this is an important point. There's this new, I'll call it, version of the web coming out where we're talking about sort of decentralized or ownership of our own content. And I think that's really, really key, right? Where you're connecting a person's maybe picture from, I don't know, I think the neighbors that turned 12, right? Being able to capture them right now and then be able to show that in 6 years when they graduate. That's too close. But be able to show them like videos throughout, their childhood. I think where I want to go with that is, I actually lost my train of thought on it because I just got kind of choked up about the kids getting so big next door. But I'm going
to take the second part of the question that you had. I think it ended in here is, what would I offer for mentorship for someone up up and coming for an app and how to get funding. I think you hit the nail on the head of being able to network with groups. This group in particular has so much knowledge and so many folks that you can get connected and get that kind of education to get the support of funding direction, how to get influence in the right path so you don't delay yourself and waste time like other startups have done.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's really great advice. If you look at the next 5 years, I know you guys are, let me jump back to some fantastic statistics. What I remember hearing about a month ago was that you had set some goals for the app at the beginning of the year when you launched. And I think you had set like short-term goals of something like 300 users or 150 users. And then maybe it was in April, you said like 600. And I think what I remember hearing, and again, this is maybe around the fire tables and such, you surpassed all of those milestones. Is that correct? Like you set them and then, even before you hit your year milestone. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think, we were overly or very conservative, I think, but also realistic in what we expected. And then when we surpassed the amount of users and the whiskable moments that were out there, we just, what do we do next? Like we have to get a revenue stream. I mean, obviously that any business wants to start getting there, but we're really looking forward to working with large and small businesses and leveraging the AR technology in their marketing world. I think there's a great avenue in that space. We'll continue to explore NFTs as a great space that Whisk can be a part of. I think that's an untapped market. And we'll continue to evolve and pivot to change to AR, VR worlds and become a larger player in the segment. I think we're just looking to get recognition and get exposure. We want as many people to be using this. I think about the way WisckAR is today and how QR codes used to be, where you knew about them, but you didn't ever use them. And then we kind of had this world thing happen with the COVID that kind of forced the QR code to be an everyday thing, from menus to, it's part of our everyday. It's part of your phone now. That's long term where we would like to be. It's going to take a minute to get there, and continuing to network with folks like you and socializing the concept and getting in front of as many people as we can and showing them the capabilities of this new marketing tool.
I love what you said there. And that actually triggered the question that I was going to ask. When we talk about this app, you have the ability, it's all contained, right? It's all kind of like having a camera in your own photo repository, but it's for you and it's your controlled content. Is that a correct way of understanding it? Now,
that's right. You can publicize it, you can share it, but it is yours. You own that. WisckAR does not.
Right. And there's no engine behind it. There's no advertising within it. It's all production in the palm of your own hand. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the socials don't read into it and they don't connect. It's up to you to be able to share that out if you care to. And that could be shared, to your point, up into an NFT platform, correct? Or your own NFT platform if you have it.
That's correct.
I think that's a real differentiator, especially as we start to talk about, the changes in social media. So for those of you that are listening at home, I mean, that's another real reason, right? Because you're controlling your content. If you're an influencer at home, or you're coming up with your own products, or, maybe you're somebody, a friend of mine that made this coat for me, you've got your own Etsy store and you want to actually talk to, why you made the product or how sustainable it is, definitely don't forget to go to the App Store or at WisckAR.com and download your preferential app. I just want to plug that a little bit more, because while you're listening at home and you want to actually play along, this is a great opportunity for that. And especially in the space where you want to own your own content, I want to plug that. And for all my friends that might be listening at home, that I know I'm going to your open houses within the next 4 to 3 weeks, 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, actually, to add on to that, now that I think about July and June and college graduations and open houses. definitely think about this, because I want to show up to your open house and have you have that on your phone before I see you. The other part of it is, I know that we're all just about to kick off what I call the Pure Michigan summer. And if you're listening at home and you're like me, I take pictures and I take videos. Last year I took videos of the water. Okay, come on, because like you want to remember what where you put your feet in the homestay, right? So let's download that app and then, you know, take recordings and show us what you're doing throughout the summer. Let me jump to the next question. You know, you talked about where you want to go. Okay, if I had to say 5 years from now, when we're looking back at this video, where are we going to be in 5 years?
Man, on every single phone.
That's great.
Every single phone. I mean, that's the goal. I want everyone to be using it. I want it to be as well known as Instagram or TikTok, and everybody leveraging the tool, whether it's for a business or your personal attribute, just being able to use this tool and have your own content.
I like that. So I want to jump to a couple other ideas, and that's just for the individual, right? And I mentioned the thing about the holiday. So I think that was going to be our next question. Do you have, if I mentioned like go to every single lake and take pictures, is there an ideal scenario that you want the individual to have with the app?
I don't think it's, I think the possibilities are endless. So your kid getting their first ice cream cone and the ice cream's all over their face, or their first birthday, or you know, if you're going to have a baby and you have the video of hearing your baby's heartbeat for the first time, attaching that to your sonogram, those are things that are moments that I think, you know, we want to remember forever, and they tend to get lost along the way. So having that moment where you can capture it, I just want it to be part of someone's everyday thoughtfulness of capturing those moments. And, you know, life moves so fast that I think we forget to pause and take those videos of the water rushing in over our feet, and really remember that and reflect on those moments where we were able to let our minds breathe a little bit.
It's so important. Let your mind breathe a bit. If someone were to start using this app and doing these things and showing up and showing content, how is one way that they can show you that they're using their app outside of the dashboards and the downloads that you can monitor? Is there a hashtag? Is there a way to tag WisckAR online once they do download the app?
Yes, you can tag WisckAR. So I'm going to plug the little our logo, if you can see it. I think I got to turn opposite direction.
Nope. You
so
did
there
great.
is our app. Where you can contact us at social@whisk or mail.whisk.com. But you can hit us at WisckAR.com if you want to hit us up, or our hashtag is WisckAR.
Hashtag WisckAR. So if you're on, is that on any means? TikTok, Facebook, Instagram?
I believe so. Dean, you want to plug in there? Or answer in the chat?
Yeah, we can get the answer, and we can always answer that question offline when we load the video or reload the video and share it out. What I want to do is encourage everyone to definitely follow us on Instagram. Follow WisckAR. It's WISCKAR, as Sam just showed. And we look forward to hearing about your downloads. Show us pictures when you do download it. Take a screen capture and show us how you're using the app. One of the things I think that I want to recap with is, if there was one thing that you would want to be asked about the app that I didn't tonight, what is one other piece of information that you would want to show and tell?
That's a really good question, Megan. I think that if I was on the outside looking in and wanted to know a little bit more, I think a lot of folks have asked us, if I'm an everyday person, how do I use it? What's the value? And I would just like to impress on anyone that might have doubt of using it. we use our phones on a regular basis, and you're capturing pictures and videos. Why not merge them together? And, you know, that exposure or that memory that you created forever is collected in one universal space. Even if you're creating your books at home of all of your photos, you can capture those family moments or friends. You know, our family lives so far away that those kinds of things are very meaningful to be able to hear our nieces laughing just from a video that's been attached to a picture that we have. So I think from a question, I'm kind of bird walking it because I don't know a question off the top of my head that I wish you had asked or that I want to give more content to.
So let me jump back to a different one then, maybe as we close out here in the last few minutes of our call, our go live. As a woman founder or co-founder of this app, and you're sitting here today and you're watching all of the downloads, what are the feels like? What is it like when you like come home on a Friday? Is it like, are you looking at the app every day? Are you looking at the downloads? Are there little happy dances that I don't get to see?
Oh, always with a glass of wine still in our hands, always celebrating those moments. Even when I remember when we broke the threshold, Dean and I are high-fiving and, you know, we're cranking up the music and doing the little dance around the house. It's just, you know, they're probably private moments between the two of us kind of dancing around or cheersing our wine, but it's just, you get the goosebumps and the happy feels, and it's kind of that euphoric. We're making it, we're doing it, we're finally crossing that threshold where we have something we can show to people and they get it. And when that light bulb goes off for people, when they see it, they're like, holy cow, I totally get it. This is amazing. Because it's harder to talk about it versus to see it in action. Mm-hmm. So I really would love everyone that's on the call and listening to download it, play with it, test it out, see what you can do. Let's see your magic happen.
I love that. And as far as the magic happens too, I'm going to tag on that. You know, you might have your own journey if you're a founder, or especially if you're a venture, anyone with some funds and wants to see this go a little bit further. If you're a founder and you're thinking about the app, I really want you to look at that journey, right? You have the ability to make your own magic happen. And if you need advice or you want to talk to anyone around how the journey happened, we're definitely here to find, 5 minutes or more to sit down with you and talk about your journey, because you don't have to do it your own. I've been thinking of, as a founder myself, drawing pictures on my whiteboards at the walls you can't see over here, and drawing and erasing. Just don't sit there and define on your own. There are people out here to mentor you, and there's definitely a network of people out here to support you in development. I got off the phone with one of them today at 11 while I was driving around the neighborhood, by the way. So just proof of that. And as far as the growth of this app, I'm just going to plug it. If you see something that you like, definitely get in contact with WisckAR.com. They're here. They'd love to hear from you. So neighbors, friends, people listening on Facebook Live, and for those of you that are reading this a little bit later, because we will post it for future play, we really look forward to seeing you download that app.
Yes, thank you, Megan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, as a to recap again, the month of May is really highlighting women founders, and I'm pretty proud to know you.
Oh, thanks you.
Thanks. Okay, so with that, friends, have a great evening. Enjoy your holiday and any open houses that you have this weekend and in the future of June. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.